Just take those old records off the shelf. I'll sit and listen to them by myself. Today's music ain't got the same soul. I like that old time rock and roll. Don't try to take me to a disco. You'll never even get me out on the floor. In 10 minutes I'll be late for the door. I like that old time rock and roll. Still like that old time rock and roll. That kind of music just soothes my soul. I reminisce about the days of old with that old time rock and roll. Hey, how you doing? Justin here. Today we are checking out a golden oldie, and this one is the Old Time Rock and Roll by Bob Seger. This is a really cool 8-bar blues form, and there's lots of different ways to treat it. If you're a beginner, it's just using an A, D and an E chord, and you can just keep the strumming real simple. As you progress, you can kind of get the strumming a little bit more creative, and later on in my beginner's course, when you learn how to do the kind of rock and roll picking, which is what I was doing at the end there in that little demo, really great song for having a bit of fun with that as well. Now the original one, to play in the original key is F sharp. So to use these chords, the A, D and E chords, you'd have to put the capo way up on the 9th fret, right, which is pretty high, and your fingers are going to be pretty cramped up there. But because it's quite high to sing anyway, you're probably going to enjoy playing it in the open position, but I might give you a little bit of a taste of how you might approach it in F sharp using big stretchy ones for more advanced guitar players that are checking out this tune as well. So what we're starting off with here is an 8-bar blues form, which really simply is A, A, D, D, E, E, A, E. Okay? 1 bar of each one of those things. So 2 bars of A, 2 bars of D, 2 bars of E, 1 bar of A, 1 bar of E. Real simple, right? There's a few little kind of quirks to it that we'll talk about as we kind of progress through. But let's start off with that as the most basic example first of all. So starting off with your A chord, 3, 4. We got 2 bars of A, 2, 3, 4, and a 2nd bar of A, and then we're going to a D chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 2nd bar, and now we're going to the E chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then to the A for 1 bar, and then to the E. Just take those old records, A if the shelf. I sit and listen to them, D myself. Today's music ain't E the same soul. I like that old time A chord roll. Now just in the verses it stays. Don't take me into a disco. Just stays on that A all of the way through. You'll never even get me D on the floor. In 10 minutes I'll be late for the door. I like that old time rock and roll. To the A. I like that old time. Here's the beginning of the sequence again for the chorus. That kind of music just soothes my soul. I reminisce about the E chord of old with that old time A chord roll. E, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Okay, so pretty much all of the way through we've got this A, D, D, E, E, A, E is the chord sequence. Now when there's a verse, it's kind of twice round that chord sequence. That very last E chord is just swapped out for an A chord. Okay, so we end up with in the first verse, the first half of the verse, it's going A, D, D, E, E, A. Second half of the verse, A, D, D, E, E, A, E, okay, just at the end there. Very simple. It's a really good idea to have these things written down. Of course, you might have your Justin Guitar Beginner Songbook Volume 2, which has this song all written out for you with the lyrics and all of that sort of stuff as well. So that's the first step. It's really important that you get that strumming and just be able to keep playing. If you're a real beginner, what you're aiming for here is not stopping between the chords. It's perfectly normal when you start to be doing, you know, old time rock and roll, kind of D chord, okay, D, there we go. So I reminisce about the Yeah, this would be really normal for a beginner to have that kind of reaction to doing the chord changes. But what you're aiming for is to lose those gaps between the changes. So even if you have to play it real slow and you're doing it like this to the A, see if you can consistently get to the D chord. Okay, and then when it's coming out to the E, 2, 3, 4, and get ready and change to the E. Keeping it just real nice and simple. That's kind of first stage for the beginners, is being able to play through it like that. It's really, really important to keep that rhythm consistent. It's all about the rhythm. Now, when you finish doing that, there's lots of different ways that you could explore the different rhythm patterns. Lots of different strumming patterns will work for this kind of a song. So it's a good song for exploring any new rhythm patterns that you learn. But a really good kind of bridging one between the truth, like a proper rock and roll pattern, would be playing continuous down and up strums and then putting an accent on beats 2 and 4. And this is kind of late beginner kind of level, I'd say. So you'd just be literally playing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and very, very simple, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. But you're going to put an accent, a slightly harder strum on beats 2 and 4. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Which leads me to this little last bar. Now, if you've got the sheet music book in front of you, you'll see that in the last bar of that 8-bar blues sequence, the A is in brackets and then there's an E chord. And what I'm meaning by that is that the E is actually starting on the and after 1. So it doesn't come right on beat 1. It stays on the A a little bit longer. Very, very common trick in rock and roll and blues is that idea. So those last 2 bars, you have A, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Okay, right at the end. So we're changing to the E on the and after 1. Okay, so going from the A chord before that, so it's the second last bar on the A chord. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Okay, that's where the E's coming in. Well, again, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... If I bring it up to speed and just play all of the way through that sequence, so A to D to E, here we go, to A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, D, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, to E, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, A, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Okay, really, really common little trick this. It's kind of a loosely called a turnaround. There's lots of different ways of playing a turnaround, but that's kind of what you're doing there. You're bringing the song around again by doing that particular blues move, okay? Now, once you're through doing that, as I said, you can explore lots of different rhythm patterns, but a really, really nice thing to do for this kind of tune is to use kind of a chunker 12-bar blues sequence, which is this kind of... Really, really nice little pattern. Now, we learn as part of the beginner's course in the later stages, we learn quite a straight version of this. Okay, but this kind of pattern that we want for this is more... Okay, so it's straighter. Okay, the 12-bar blues that we learn in the beginner's course is dum, dum, dum. Got a really heavy shuffle on it. This one, same sort of thing though. So we're starting just with the first finger in the 2nd fret of the 4th string, and we're playing just the 5th string open and that note with the 1st finger. Also using a little bit of palm mute, just the outside of that hand, just touching the strings. There's without it, with it. Okay, gets a little bit kind of darker sounding. It sounds a lot more like this sort of song should. And then we've got 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. On this on beat 2 and beat 4, we're putting our 3rd finger down the 4th fret of the 4th string, okay? 1, bass note, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Now just to make it easier, I'm going to put a tab of that little pattern there up on the website as well. So go and click the link in the description. It'll take you through the right web page for this particular lesson. And I'll put a little link up for that and the intro as well, actually, which I'll show you in a second. But once you've got that pattern, that's 1 bar's worth of pattern. So 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3, 4. And for the D, you just move all of it down a string. 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3, 4. For the E, you're moving on to the thickest 2 strings. 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3, 4 to A. 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Lots of different fun things you can do when you get into doing 12-bar variations as well. This kind of tune is just so much fun for exploring new ideas because the chord sequence is so simple. There's lots of different ways that you can kind of vary it up and explore this kind of thing, this 12-bar blues stuff on your own. So go and check that out. Make sure you, again, I'll put the basic form that's played for, or it's good to play with this song up on the website, but remember you're going to be wanting to do those lessons as well on the 12-bar blues style, which are on the site. And the last thing to show you actually is just the intro. Okay, this is the 5th fret on the thicker string, 1 and 2 and 3, and then the 3rd fret, 2nd fret, and then open. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then there's 1 bar rest. And again, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. 5th fret, 5th fret, 5th fret, 5th fret, 5th fret, 3rd fret, 2nd fret, open. Okay, if you've got a gap there, it can be nice to just cover all the strings, put a little hit there. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Just helps everyone keep in time. Little hit on 2 and 4 is emulating the thing called the snare drum, which creates the backbeat in the music, a very, very important thing. Now, for any of you more advanced players that have managed to make it through this far, you're going to be doing the same rock and roll pattern, but playing it in F sharp, which is down at the 2nd fret. Quite a stretch, this one, okay? Instead of using 1st, 3rd finger and doing little finger, I sometimes use 1st and 2nd finger if I've got that sort of stretch. Not all the time, it depends on how flexy my fingers are feeling that day. But you'd be doing it here in the original key, F sharp, to B, to C sharp, back to F sharp. Now, if you want to get into some improvising as well, a little bit more for more advanced guitar players, if you're playing it in the original key, the F sharp key of F sharp that I was just showing you there, you're going to be using basically the F sharp minor pentatonic scale, or F sharp kind of blues ideas. If you're playing it the easy way I've just been showing you here in the key of A, using the open A chord or the A rock and roll, you could also improvise over this using the A minor pentatonic scale. So if you got yourself a jam buddy, you're doing little regular jam sessions with your pal, then definitely he can be playing that rhythm pattern there, and you can be exploring all of your licks in the A minor pentatonic scale, which is very, very cool fun. Again, if you're at that stage, you probably want to be checking out my blues lead guitar course, which is of course free on the website. So please subscribe if you dig what I do. There are hundreds more lessons over there on the website, and loads of really easy beginner songs and some quite more advanced stuff over there as well. So I'll see you for plenty more lessons very soon. You take care of yourselves. Bye bye.